Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast, your weekly beer review and smoking etiquette podcast.
Smoking etiquette is very... you're right on the nose. That is actually exactly what we talked about before we started this episode.
We did. We're like, where to smoke, how to smoke, what kind of things to smoke. It was a lot of smoking.
I usually smoke those fools.
Yes, you
oppose
do.
Me.
I know.
No, but Stefan has gotten a smoker on his balcony.
Exactly.
That is not a bad thing. I have yet to try anything from this smoker, and I am semi-offended.
You could have today, but you said no. We have to record at my place. I'm like, well, whatever you like.
While we are recording this, we are waiting for a shipment of Driffontainen beers that apparently can only be delivered after working hours. Because FedEx
only delivers after.
No, they consistently fail to deliver and hand it over to Best. And I'll give it to Best. They are very good at giving information and showing the tracking of the van and how many are before you, but they never deliver during working hours.
Nope.
So that's why we're not enjoying Stefan's smoked meats.
I know, but we will soon.
But
you're always welcome to come over anytime you want. You just have to say, hey, can I come over? And I'll be like, sure.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
But instead, Stefan has been in Copenhagen and bought 2 smoked beers.
I did.
Whoa, what a segue.
I know. And so I found the smoked double stout first. And then I saw the smoked lager. And I was just like, done.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
We got this. So the first one is from Evil Twin Brewing, New York. It is a 5% ABV smoked lager, not a, what's it called, rauchbier? I don't know. Maybe that's
it might be protected.
A demarcation, protection. Maybe. The Anti-IPA is having a moment. How do you feel about rauchbiers, smoked beers, smoked lagers?
I love traditional smoked rauchbiers from Germany, preferably from the Bamberg area, Schlenkela, and all of those breweries.
Yes.
There are several. I've never been to Bamberg.
I want to go. I want to go to Anslucker brewery. I heard it's really nice. So I'm very motivated to go there someday.
But people who live there, as far as I know, they do pub crawls with just smoked beers.
Wow. That would be insane.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle that. That's a lot of smoked beers.
So I do like them. I also like the non-traditional, newer smoked variants, like Imperial Stouts aged on peated whiskey barrels.
Yeah.
Which isn't like traditional Rauch beer. They're not smoked beers. They're like peated whiskey aged beers. But they have some similarities.
Yeah, so I got both of these, and I was very curious as how the smoke would present in the beer, being one is a lager and the other is a double stout. I wish I could have got a Lichtenheiner to complete the trifecta here. That's another really fun beer that presents smoke in a very unique and interesting way.
Yes.
But sure, this smells very...
It's
very Rauch beer.
Yeah, but it smells like a weaker variant.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell like those Rauch beers from the Bamberg area. They smell like sausage instantly.
They do have a very sausagey smell to them. This one's really nice, but it's very lightly smoked on the nose.
Yeah, it's a beginner's.
Yeah, but otherwise it looks like a lager, a little unfiltered. So let's do this.
Cheers.
The base lager is actually really solid, very pleasant, very easy to drink. No off notes or weird flavors involved. Honestly, just a lager on its own would probably be extremely good. There's a slightly bitter finish to it, and then you get this really lightly smoked presence in there, which is really good, I think.
It's a nice smoky flavor, and it's definitely more than 0, but it is really faint. It is really weak.
I mean, I think if you were to try this, you would go, this is a smoked lager. Now, is it like the smoked sausage flavor of a German lager? 100% no. That it is more of an introductory version of that kind of beer. I think probably for Evil Twin and what people would expect in the U.S., this is probably about as hard as they're willing to go until you've had a few more of these styles of beer. But I mean, it's a perfectly good representation of the style.
I agree. I think I need to go out of the rauchbier mindset, and I need to go like lightly smoked lager, but consider the lager part first.
Yeah, that's the way to approach part first, because as you have a couple of more sips of it, the smoking part kind of starts to fade into the background a little bit as your taste buds become numb to the concept of the smoked beer. But the lager part is still very strong and very drinkable and very very pleasant overall.
I agree. The more your taste buds acclimatize, the fainter the smoked aspect becomes.
Yeah, and then it only kind of resurfaces once you take a break in between sips and the air passes over your tongue and starts to pop those flavonoids again. So,
but with the German traditional ones, I consistently give 4 and above.
Yeah,
but this one lands at a 3.75 for me.
I would go. I think if the smoke was a little stronger, I would probably give it a 4. But as it stands, I think the base lager is really good. The slight smokiness really is quite nice. But I'm actually going to give it a 3.5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it because of the lager aspect or the smoke aspect?
The smoke aspect.
Because it's too faint.
It's too faint.
So you've agreed with me all this time.
Yeah.
I felt like I was arguing against a brick wall.
No, not at all. I was trying to...
I get it. But it is very faint.
Yeah. All right. And so next up is the Goatsmoker Smoked Double Stout. It's best before 2028. And they've got a little paragraph here. It's the 2024 edition, so I assume this is an annual release or semi-annual, or don't know when the last Goatsmoker was released.
And the brewery is Holy Goat.
The brewery is Holy Goat, and 8% ABV. So this robust smoked stout was brewed using beechwood smoked malt, which makes up the entirety of the malt base, of the base malt, along with 7 specialty roasted and crystal malts, in addition to a blend of muscavado and demerara sugars. Expect dense smoke, roasted coffee, candied bacon, rum, and molasses.
Nice.
All right. On the nose, we get?
Oh, it's a little bit acidic on the nose.
For me, it smells like a smoked porter.
Yeah?
It feels much more like a porter than a...
Yeah, you're right.
Than a double stout.
The acidic notes are I think they are heavily roasted notes, like the remains of coffee.
It does have that coffee sump, super heavy smoked porter kind of aspect to it. I think this is going to be a very much a coffee forward, like a coffee sump forward grounds kind of beer. All right.
Sweeter on the taste.
Much sweeter on the taste. The mouthfeel is much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be really thin and watery, but I think the carbonation kind of keeps it interesting.
But here as well, the smoke, the aftertaste is quite faint.
I would say the smoke overall is quite faint. I mean, it's not really strong on the nose.
No.
It's supposed to smell mostly like a heavy roasted malt beer, and then when you try it, it does present very much like a porter.
Yeah. Unfortunately, so I've had many porters that I enjoy, but this one is manifesting a lot of the porter flavors that are not my absolute favorites. When it is very like astringently, harshly bitter.
It is like a bitter coffee with a little bit of a sugar flavor to it.
But like licking a wood plank.
I'm not quite there with you,
No?
but I get where you're going. I definitely am picking up what you're putting down. But it's not quite that astringent and quite that tannic for me. It's
No, you're right. It's not that tannic. But there's something there that... Yeah,
I think it's the beechwood probably is the beechwood smoked malt is what's giving you that.
Maybe, but if it only had more smoke, it would be so much better.
Yeah, for me, that's where this beer is kind of falling flat. I think there's a lot going for it. I think overall, it's pretty good. I like the mouthfeel. I like the sweetness in the end. I like the harsh coffee roast, almost like an espresso kind of roast to it.
Yep.
I don't get bacon, rum, and molasses, but what's missing for me is the smoke.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be a much more of a punch of smoke.
This is one of the more difficult ratings on the show. I really actually don't know where to place it because it has a few aspects that make me want to raise the rating. Mm-hmm. And it has some downfalls, some pitfalls that make me want to lower it. It's somewhere between a 3 and a 3.75.
I definitely feel what you're saying here. There's a lot to like, but there's also a lot of things that are kind of lacking in the overall makeup of the beer. Again, 8%. I think it's very easy to drink. I quite enjoy the beer overall. But when I think a smoked double stout that's brewed as an annual release, I'm expecting a little bit more smoke on it, a little more excitement from it, other than just a heavily smoked malt bill. I think I'm going to give this a 3.25.
Yeah, 3.5. I think I'll land there.
Yeah, and I mean the 3.5 is kind of also. I mean, I could give it a 3.5 as well.
Exactly.
But I wanted a little more punch of smoke.
So now comes the real experiment, and that's for you to return to the Evil Twin Lager. I want to change my rating, and now you've tried it. I feel like there's no smoke at all in it now.
I'm about to say, this is a really great lager, and there's no smoke anymore.
And I think it's two parts. One is more oxygen. I think that decreases the smoke flavor, but also because we've tried this more roasted beer, that makes our taste buds like completely numb to that.
I feel like you need a palate cleanser to go back to it again.
Exactly.
But again, this is a really solid lager.
Yeah, exactly.
I can just drink cans of this all year long.
I almost want to raise the rating because now I no longer see it as a smoked lager, but that's cheating. But we definitely had them in the right order.
100%. I don't think we would have gotten any smoke off of the anti-IPA is having a moment otherwise.
I love the name.
It's a lot of fun.
We need more anti-IPAs.
We do. What would be other styles of anti-IPA?
I mean, lambics.
Sure. Those are not IPAs.
But they're anti-IPAs.
They are kind of anti-IPAs.
When you talk about imperial stouts, they often have a higher bitterness count than IPAs. But that's just to balance it out.
I think pastry sours are anti-IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, Lichtenheiners.
Lichtenheiner's definitely an anti-IPA.
They're anti-everything.
They are.
Everyone else is partying, and Lichtenheiner is sitting outside of the party house going, I don't need your stinking party.
The emo beer of...
Exactly. I am a salty, sour, smoky beer.
Yeah, that no one likes.
Everyone likes it. Everyone with a brain loves Lichtenheiners.
All right. We'll wrap it up here then. So you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you find podcasts, you can find What's on Tap. So until next time,
keep drinking, you dum-dums.